We are a few weeks into 2025. It's a new year, but it is the same old me, and I have absolute deep-seated love for Gibson guitars, specifically Gibson Les Pauls. So I figured I would do like an updated Les Paul collection video ever since my Every Level of Les Paul video came out. And some things have changed, and I've added some, and I've gotten rid of some. So these are my 5 current Les Pauls that are in rotation, and one of them just does not come out ever. I've basically retired it. So let's get into it. There's one that I have that won't be on here, and that is the Epiphone Les Paul Modern, and it's the Sweetwater exclusive blue. That one I'm planning on giving away, so stay tuned for more details on that. Also, really quick, don't forget that I am taking on new students, so shoot me an email if you are interested. I would love to work with you. Okay, I've talked too much. Let's get into it. I'm gonna do these in order of price. So here's number 1. This is my Tobacco Sunburst. Oh, I love looking at this on the camera. This is my 2005 Les Paul Standard. A couple things about 2005 that are awesome, a couple things that are not awesome. I am and have always been in a love-hate relationship with this guitar. First of all, the body is super chambered, so it's 7.5 pounds, which makes it basically the same weight as my heaviest Strat, which is really ridiculous. I mean, something about it feels kind of strange when I play it. Also, this was the guitar that taught me that not all Les Pauls are created equally. When I was gigging a lot with my Les Paul Custom and I was younger, I needed a backup Les Paul, and this originally came with burst buckers, and I immediately learned that I don't like burst buckers, and I battled with this guitar, with pedals, with amps for years, and now we're finally at a point where I enjoy it. This one does have, not like you're gonna be able to see it, but this one, oh yeah, actually maybe you can see it, wow. This one does have a 60s slim profile neck on it, and something that they were doing at the time that I really loved and that you can kind of see is that it has a cream binding, and the cream binding is one thing because I'm 50-50 on a cream binding because I love when they turn cream naturally, but I don't like when they come pre-done. However, the thing that they did top it off with, let me see if you can see this check this out over on the guitar cam. The trapezoids, the pearl has actually been greened slightly. It really does look phenomenal. Oh, and the tuning pegs as well, actually. Yeah, the tuning pegs are green, which is really cool. Yeah, and it just has a great aesthetic in it. So as I play though, remember that this originally came with burst buckers, and you could find that on my channel of it with burst buckers, but these are not burst buckers. So check this out. Now, of course, it is 100% going to be out of tune again because it's a Les Paul. This guitar really deserves its own kind of updated video. But the thing is that these pickups were actually 100% custom wound for me by my friend Nick Kalbline, who actually works on all my guitars. Not only does he work on my guitars, but he owns Ironbound Pickups, where he will custom make you a set of pickups to your specs. Now, that being said, the bridge pickup is absolutely dialed in. I mean, just like... And the bridge pickup we are still working on. This is the second iteration, and it's tough because it's great sounding in the neck. Like, it's so good looking. Now it's funny because the sound and the aesthetic that I was going for with the pickup swap on this guitar, the week that we put these in, I found just absolutely one of my favorite Les Pauls ever. And that leads us into number 2 here. Another Les Paul standard. I have very few guitars that when I see them, I want to kiss them. And this is one of them. Instantly, I look at it on the cameras that everything that I wanted my other Les Paul standard to be, I found in this guitar. At this point, there should be a full review video about this guitar on the channel. This is my Slash signature Appetite Burst Les Paul. It just checked all the boxes of what I want in a standard. I've always wanted a lemon burst, and this is more or less a lemon burst, right? I've always wanted a AAA flame maple top, and this, as you see, is a AAA flame maple top. I wanted zebra stripe pickups. This has zebra stripe pickups. They are the Slash Bucker Alnico 2. I guess they're like Gibson's version of them, you know, of the Slash pickup. It is a nice, I think it's about 9 pounds. I think that's what he told me, 9 pounds, 13 ounces, somewhere around there. So it's a really good weight for a Les Paul. Besides the fact that it's got a nice thick vintage 50s neck on it. It's not a 50s neck, it's a vintage 50s, which is even more ridiculous. I had no idea that could be a thing. And it's got a beautiful red back to it. Now I'll tell you, big difference in these two standards is that my 2005 standard was still the time when they would make one-piece bodies. And this is actually a two-piece. You can see, you should be able to see, oh, come on. You should be able to see down the center, there is a separation of those two pieces. However, besides that, this is one of the most unbelievable Les Pauls I've ever played in my As you can hear, and most importantly feel, this guitar does it. It does exactly the Slash thing. No matter what you put it into, it sounds the way that this Les Paul should sound perfectly all the time. When it's clean, it is absolutely just buttery smooth. So this to me is hands down the best Les Paul that you can buy for the price in the current Gibson catalog. Anyone that asks me, they say I want to buy a Les Paul, like I'm saying, if you want to get the best bang for your buck, like this is not a cheap guitar, but it feels like you're getting a custom shop guitar, at least to me. I don't know, fight in the comments. And the thing is that there's not just this in the Slash line, there is also the Jessica, which I'm not a huge fan of just because it's a little too specific. They had the November Burst for a bit, which is just a Sunburst Les Paul, but it's awesome because it has the slash pickups in it. And then there's the Victoria, which is just a black back gold top with humbuckers. So the reason I like this one best is because you get a AAA flame maple top, which is normally, it's just, I don't know. It's so good. So now we went modern, but next we're gonna go to the past. We're gonna go 30 years into the past when the Gibson custom shop was just really starting. We've got a brown case, we've got the cover, and we have this. This unbelievable looking thing is a 1996 Les Paul Standard from the custom shop. So the custom shop started in 93. So this would be like when they were really starting to experiment, I guess, because there's nothing like this. It's got the black back, which is super cool. The remarkable finish on the top, which just is such a head turner. It's about a little bit over 8 pounds, so it's light compared to some of my other Les Pauls, but it really is like a just right if you don't want to break your shoulder. These pickups are interesting because I don't know what they were really doing at the time, but these have stickers on the back that say PAF. It makes you wonder what they were experimenting with, and I'm sure I'll find out over time. Perfect size Les Paul neck, 50s neck. Above all, the most important thing is that it does this. This guitar really does give off like super vintage vibes. The look of it would not say that, right? But I guess maybe it would, because like you think Ace Frehley or something like this, right? And you can get the total like, I don't know. It's got that sustain, and it just wants you to play certain mean thing. It's just so trashy in all the right spots, and it's buttery smooth. I just don't know how I got so lucky to find this one, and all of that story will be in the review video of this when it comes out. But this guitar from day one truly had potential to be a #1 all day. Absolutely amazing. Guess you would call it Sparkle Sunburst? My stack of Les Paul cases are getting so high behind me that you can see it on camera now. Okay, yeah, this is #4. For those of you who've been on my channel for a while, you know exactly what this is. And early on, this was my most successful video, was this guitar. If you want to check out the story about how I got it, go check out that video. But then later I had a bunch of like shorts that went crazy that had this guitar in it. And again, this was a #1 for a long time. Still kind of is. I mean, if I get to play this guitar, I get very, very happy and very, very excited. This guitar is actually not a Les Paul, but it is in fact my Tokai Love Rock. And I just love this guitar so much. It's so freaking great. One of the big upgrades I did to this, however, was that I added 2 P90s as opposed to the P90 and the mini humbucker that were in it. These are actually Fishman Fluence P90s. I have the rechargeable backplate on it, and it's just such a phenomenal guitar. See, this one I took right out of the case, and it was in tune already. Joe Bonamassa had a great quote recently about P90s and about Les Pauls that I thought was really funny and really interesting. And he was saying that he said something along the lines of like, guitar players will claim that the greatest pickup of all time is the PAF, and then when they go home, privately in their room, they love P90s. And I can play these any night, any show. I do not have to change guitars. They're phenomenal. The fact that the Fishmen are noiseless is just incredible. Just a really great example of a gold top for being not a real gold top, you know? We're at the last but not least. This is Les Paul number 5. This one is retired. I do not bring it to any gig except for recently I brought it out of retirement for a good friend's wedding that I played. And it was absolutely, absolutely epic. And getting it kind of restored and brought back to life and the life it should be, it just made me, I just sat down with it after it got all cleaned up and fixed up by Nick Kalbline, who I just mentioned now twice in this video. I played it even just acoustic by itself, and it was just so buttery, and it's just awesome. This is one of the best guitars I own, and it's also one of the most expensive, hence why it doesn't come out a lot right now. It's also one of the heaviest. So here we go. It actually looks way better on camera than I thought it would, but the case is quite beat up. This was like, you know, it's like a real road-worn case. Every time I see it, it makes me happy. The reason it makes me so happy, let me tell you why this guitar makes me so happy, okay? It's been with me since it was on the showroom floor in 2007 or 2005 or 2008. I forget how custom shop serial numbers work, but this is a 57 reissue from the time. Again, it was bought off the showroom floor. I could cry talking about this. Every little split of the binding's actually turning yellow on its own. It's a sign of royalty. It's just, oh, it's all yellow under here. I don't know how well you could see that. Oh, it's just so good looking. I truly love this guitar, besides the fact that it weighs 12 pounds. Actually, I think it's actually 12 and a half. For those of you out there who do that thing where they're like, I want the heaviest Les Paul I can find, this is one of the ones for you. And it is not chambered, but it is weight relieved. Like some of the best guitars in our lives, I don't know truly much about this guitar besides the fact that I barely even remembered that it was a 57 reissue before I saw the serial number. All I know about this guitar is that it's been with me for a long time. It's seen a lot. It's been there with me. It's been through a lot with me of my playing journey, and I love it. And I love the way it sounds, and it does something to me when I play it. I can put up pictures from 15 years ago of me with this guitar on stages all over the place. I'll put up some really embarrassing pictures right now, just so you can understand like how much this guitar means. You know, when a guitar goes with you through your awkward phase, you know what I mean? You know, through that time that you thought bangs were a good idea or like painting your fingernails. Let's go. I've said this before, but with a guitar like this, obviously you could just immediately become Adam Jones from Tool, right? I should totally put EMGs in this, right? Thank you for watching this video. I hope you look at your guitars the way that I look at my guitars, just with love. If you want to see how bad this guitar actually looked before Nick Kalbline fixed it up, go check out my every level of Les Paul video right here.